Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. I hope that wasn't the beginning. I don't know. Okay, so I got a question today. I get a lot of for sale by owner questions, and I got a question of who draws up the contract in a for sale by owner situation. So I gotta warn you that I think this answer is going to take about 1 minute, and this is going to be a 10-minute video. So I'm going to have to find something else to talk about. So first of all, let's talk about for sale by owner, what that means, and I will tell you straight up why I don't recommend anybody does it. And I'm in contact with sellers all day, including a few yesterday, who tell me I'm just gonna put out a sign and I'm gonna sell it in 5 minutes. I hear that bullshit all the time. I got to tell you, it is a bad idea. So let me explain. There's really three ways to sell a property. Two make sense and one doesn't. The three ways to sell a property are: number one, what 90% of any homes in any given market are going to happen, are going to be done with, and that is they're going to be listed with an agent on the multiple listing service and sold. The second way is if there's some reason why you can't do that, and the top reasons why you cannot sell a house with an agent, let me change the angle here, is the condition is terrible and the end buyer may not be able to get a mortgage, that kind of thing. That's number one. So condition issues. Number two is legal issues or municipal issues. So let's say open permits, unpermitted additions, open violations, that kind of thing you don't want to deal with. That could be a problem because you have to convey clean title. And number three is time issues, right? So you need to sell really fast, or you need to sell on your own time frame. Maybe you're looking for a place to go. I speak to a lot of people who are building houses down south. I can guarantee you those things do not come on schedule most of the time. So if you just need to be on your own time frame and not on a buyer's time frame, you might sell to an investor. You might have a tenant issue. A tenant is not paying, and you got to sell the property anyway. Those are some of the major reasons that I find that people sell to investors. So that makes sense. You're going to get less money. Let's be honest, but you're giving up some money for the certainty and convenience that an investor provides. Now, the third way is sell for sale by owner. This, in my opinion, is almost always a terrible idea, and I'm going to explain why. And I can tell you firsthand experiences recently of situations I've seen. You don't know what the house is worth, right? Based on the condition, based on all the things, you don't know. If you list it with an agent, even if that agent is out of his mind, the bottom line is you're going to show the property to the most amount of buyers that are possible, and you will hopefully get offers unless you're priced way too high, and you will find out what it's worth. Now, if you pick a number out of your ass, which I see a lot of times, oh, I just want $500,000 for the property, I'm going to put out a sign, I'm going to sell it in 5 minutes. You may never know if that's the right price or not. So you may get that price, and really it was worth $100,000 more. I have spoken to people, I promise you, dozens of times, who told me, I have a buyer at this number, and I say to them, that is a ridiculous number. They go, why? I say, because if you listed it, you can probably get another $75,000. People just aren't aware of what's going on in the market today. So the knock on this thing with an agent is usually, well, I don't want to pay commission. I don't want to pay commission. I don't want to pay commission. So a couple of things. First of all, shameless plug for me, I don't charge a lot of commission. That's number one. Number two, even if you pay my commission, I almost guarantee that in 99.9% of situations, even after paying the commission, you will still make more money. If you show the property, my light is not strict. Oh my God, that was weird. If you show the property to the most people, you will get the most money. Now, is it possible that you will find a for sale by owner buyer who's going to pay you more than you will net? It's possible, but it's extremely unlikely. Extremely, extremely unlikely, especially in today's market. So I highly recommend against for sale by owner. The other two methods are fine. If your house is fine, your timing is fine, everything's fine, list it with an agent, with me or with any other agent, doesn't matter. If you can't list it, I'd love for you to sell it to me, or I'll give you, if you want other people that do what I do, I'm happy to give you names of good competitors of mine. But FSBO, for sale by owner, not a good idea. Now, who draws up the contract? It's a great question. Now, in most states, in 49 states, the contract is drawn up by the buyer, so it doesn't even matter. But in New York, the seller's attorney usually draws up the contract. So even if you're going FSBO, for sale by owner, you should be represented by an attorney, and you should have your attorney draw up the contract and send it to the buyer's attorney. He also should have an attorney. Now, he can choose not to, but it's not a good idea if all parties aren't represented. And the reason why is because that is what is common practice in the state of New York, most of the state of New York anyway. So if you do a transaction without representation, first of all, you run the risk of getting screwed. But if you do a transaction where you're representing the other side isn't, you run the risk of getting sued after, because they can say, I wasn't represented. So I have done deals with sellers that weren't represented. And first of all, I make them sign a very strongly worded affidavit that says that you choose not to be represented. But I really didn't like them. It's funny, I always dreamed about this amazing situation where I'm going to close a deal without attorneys. But there are a lot of parts of the transaction that are the responsibility of the seller's attorney. And then if there is no seller's attorney, then I'm the schmuck who's got to do that stuff. So a couple of examples. Number one, seller's attorney's got a clear title issue. So I had a situation where there was death certificates and I didn't have them, and we got the day before closing. They said, you better provide them. We're not closing tomorrow. I had to go get the original death certificates. Another situation, a seller's attorney provides a check list. That's a list of where the checks are supposed to go. So I had a situation where it was a brother and a sister, and they told me in the beginning of the when we met, we want everything split 50-50. I didn't remember that later at the closing. Closing comes, they got one check, they're all pissed off at me. So, I mean, we fixed it. But that is something that a seller's attorney would have taken care of. Now, there's just so many things that a seller's attorney usually does in a New York transaction, New York real estate transaction, that if you cut them out of the transaction, a lot of that stuff's going to fall on people who aren't planning to do it, right? So it's not as rosy as it seems, and it's also clearly gives you some liability, right? If somebody's represented and they sell me a property, and then I go out and make money on that property, I have no fear whatsoever that I'm going to get sued. But if they're not represented, and they want to hire an attorney now to sue me because they think I screwed them over, which again doesn't happen, they might have a case because they weren't represented, and that's standard practice in New York. So that was really the answer, and we are only 6.5 minutes into this. So what else should we talk about? So more reasons why FSBO sucks. FSBO sucks. I'm telling you, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. As hot as you think your area is, as quickly as you think you'll sell it, you will never know if you got the most money for it, and you will certainly have to deal with things, title issues that are probably going to come up. And if everybody's not represented, because a lot of people think FSBO is just a quick transaction, somebody's going to show up and bring me a suitcase full of cash. It's not what's going to happen. It's going to have to go through the standard process. Seller's attorney drawing up a contract, buyer's attorney negotiating, going into contract, ordering title. It still takes time, and to me, it's a foolish, foolish way to try to save money. You are literally tripping over dollars to pick up nickels, in my opinion. So that is my thought. Now, what else? What else should we talk about today on this beautiful winter morning? I guess we could talk about the market. The market's still really smoking hot in New York. I know there are other parts of the country where it's not as hot. Now, it's hard to tell, right? COVID really hurt New York pretty badly, right? We had a good 4 or 5 months where almost nothing was going on. There were other parts of the country where the opposite happened, where things just sped up, where people weren't afraid for their lives, but people were afraid for their pocketbooks, so they were selling properties left and right. People didn't give a crap about COVID, really. They thought it was a New York issue. Eventually, it got everywhere, but so then things are really hot. Now it's slowed down a little. I don't see things slowing down. I see there's still a tremendous demand for properties because for 2 years almost, we're almost 2 years into this, there has been an artificial reduction in supply. The government, by its absurd eviction moratorium and absurd foreclosure moratorium, has basically taken a lot of properties off the market that should be on the market. They have told people who can't pay their mortgage and people who can't pay their rent, just stay where you are. And those are properties that would have turned over a bunch of times. So there's an artificial reduction of supply, and that is causing an increase in price due to the same demand, right? I don't think there's increased demand. It's the same demand. There's reduction in supply. And this can take a long time in New York to get that through the system, right? The moratorium, hopefully, please, is going to end in 10 days, maybe extended. But even if it ends, the court's going to be backed up for a while. I have 17 eviction situations going on now, and I'm not counting on getting anybody out so quick because just the delays in the court system. But everybody will get out soon, eventually. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about a course I have to teach how to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you are interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching I offer, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. What else? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help me. What else? Oh, please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. You can ask any question, and if it's a simple answer, it doesn't even have to be about the video you're watching. Any question. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply. If it's something I've covered before, I'll send you a link to a video or videos. And if it's something new, I'll do a new video on it. But all questions get answered. I try to check uh, my Google comments every day, so I'll try to get back quickly. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it.